What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are diving into a story that honestly feels bigger than anything Earth should ever have to deal with. Because this time it isn't Thanos, it isn't Galactus, it isn't even some multiverse version of Kong. No, this began with Tony Stark, alone, underground, finding something he was never supposed to wake up. And once it opened its eyes, everything changed. The title of today's story says it all. Iron Man found an underground alien. Now Thor, Hulk, and Wolverine must stop what's rising. And trust me, that sentence is not dramatic enough for what we are dealing with here. Because this wasn't just an alien body. It wasn't a fossil. It wasn't a leftover weapon. It was alive. Not fully breathing, not fully aware, but waiting. Waiting for someone curious enough to touch things they shouldn't touch. And if there is one Avenger who fits that description perfectly, it's Tony Stark. The man sees one blinking light in a cave, and his brain says, press it. And yeah, he pressed it. He woke it. Now here's the crazy part. Earth didn't even know this species existed. Not S.H.I.E.L.D., not Thor, not any cosmic record. This thing predates Asgardian history. It predates human memory. We're talking ancient war, lost history, buried truth, the kind of stuff that makes even Thor take a quiet breath. The alien opens its eyes, looks at Tony Stark, and the first thing it says is, "The war continues." Imagine hearing that from something that should have been dead for 100,000 years. Imagine realizing Earth never won the war. Earth hid from it. And now something under the ground is waking. Something building itself back to strength. And Tony Stark is the reason. So the only question left is, can Thor, Hulk, and Wolverine stop what's rising? Or is Iron Man already too late? So here's where things start to unfold. Because Tony didn't just accidentally meet this alien. It wasn't a random cave. It wasn't a crash site. He went looking for something. He was tracking seismic pulses that didn't make sense. These weren't earthquakes, weren't explosions, weren't even volcanic shifts. They were rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, impossible to ignore. And Tony being Tony, curiosity beats caution every single time. He builds a drilling probe, deploys it deep beneath old rock formations, and suddenly the readings go wild. There's metal down there, but not machinery, not human-made. This metal was alive. It reacted to energy scans like it was breathing. And if there's anything Stark can't resist, it's mystery wrapped in danger with a sign that basically says, "Do not touch." Which of course means he touches everything. So he goes down himself, deeper than any mining company ever reached, deeper than Wakandan scanning technology ever mapped. The cave walls begin to turn silver, then reflective like liquid steel. He follows the trail until he arrives at something that looks like a pod mixed with a throne, smooth, cold, pulsing faintly like it remembered being warm once. And this is the moment that changes Earth. He activates his scanners. Lights flicker. The metal shell cracks like old bone. And from inside, an alien form sits up slowly, like waking from a nightmare that never ended. Its skin isn't skin, it's metallic muscle. It speaks in broken words, but the meaning hits like a hammer. You woke us. Us. Not me, us. That means more. Many more. Tony's not afraid at first. He's fascinated. He tries to communicate. He tries to scan it further. But the alien absorbs the scan like food. It drinks power from his suit. It grows stronger in seconds. What Tony thought was research was actually feeding it. And that's when he realizes the structure around him isn't just a chamber. It's a prison, a cage, a warning that Earth hid something, buried something, because defeating it was impossible. Stark didn't discover history. He freed it. And whatever is rising beneath the planet, it remembers war. So now we move into one of the most important parts of this entire story. The moment the alien finally speaks clearly. Because at first its words are broken, scattered, like its mind is still rebooting. But the more power it absorbs, the more language reconnects, like memories thawing out of frozen metal. And then it talks, not in threat, not in anger, not even in fear. It speaks like someone who has already lost everything, like a survivor of a war the universe forgot. It tells Tony Stark about the buried legion, An alien civilization not born in flesh, but in metal and energy. Creatures whose blood was molten iron and whose nerves carried electricity instead of cells. They weren't built in labs. They evolved that way. They were a species designed by nature herself to outlast stars. And they almost took Earth. See, thousands of years before humanity even discovered fire, Earth was a battlefield. No written history remembers it. No mythology speaks of it. Even Asgard erased it, not because they wanted to hide the truth, but because they barely survived. The buried legion descended like a storm of silver. They didn't conquer. They consumed. They fed on metal, on the Earth's core like it was oxygen. Wherever they marched, mountains turned hollow, oceans boiled, and planets died from the inside out. Tony hears all this and tries to keep calm, but you can almost feel his mind racing like, yeah, we're screwed. The alien explains that Earth didn't win the war, it only bought time. The planet itself, using tectonic force and raw pressure, trapped the aliens beneath the crust. But even stone can crack, even prisons weaken. Time was always the enemy. And now Tony Stark has removed the lock. And here's the line that hits hardest, the line that changes this story from danger to catastrophe. We were not destroyed, only sleeping, waiting for someone curious enough to dig, someone brilliant enough to find them, someone human enough to believe they could control what buried gods once feared. And that someone was Iron Man. Now here's where the commentary energy kicks in, because imagine hearing that from a creature older than Thor's father. Imagine realizing this wasn't the last of its species. It was just the first to wake. Even worse, the alien asks Tony a question he cannot answer. Does Earth still run? Not live, not fight, not survive. Run. Because to the buried legion, humans were never opponents. They were prey. And now, after thousands of years, the prey is loud again, building cities full of metal, machines, towers, power grids. Earth is a feast waiting to be eaten. And Tony Stark? He just rang the dinner bell that says, oh, now that the alien has spoken. Now that Tony understands the scale of what he's dealing with, we move into the part of the story where things go from dangerous to uncontrollable. Because Tony Stark doesn't run. That's never been his nature. When he sees something powerful, he studies it. When something scares him, he builds armor to fight it. But this time, his strength becomes his greatest mistake. Tony brings the alien into a secure research chamber, not to imprison it, to understand it. He thinks knowledge is control, that data equals safety. And honestly, that's classic Stark logic. He doesn't see a monster. He sees potential, technology, the next step of evolution. But while he's analyzing the alien is analyzing him. Here's the key. It doesn't need weapons. It doesn't need machines. It feeds on metal itself. Every wall, every bolt, every piece of technology around it is fuel. Tony runs diagnostics, thinking he's learning about the alien. But really he's helping it evolve, helping it regenerate, helping it remember what it once was. And once it remembers, it breaks containment like paper. Alarms scream. Systems fail. Lights dim. The alien no longer speaks like a survivor. It speaks like a soldier awakened in enemy territory. It tells Stark something chilling. Earth forgot the war. We did not. It walks straight through reinforced titanium, absorbing steel like water. Pipes burst, floors melt, power surges. And Tony realizes, not only is this thing alive, it's growing. It escapes the surface facility, returning underground like it knows exactly where it must go. Like Earth's crust still whispers directions from a war long buried. Down deeper, toward heat, toward pressure, toward something sleeping even below it. And this is when it hits Tony. He's not dealing with one alien. He just released the key to an entire army. For the first time, Tony feels the panic he should have felt earlier. This wasn't discovery. This wasn't research. It was resurrection. And he helped it happen. The man who saved Earth too many times to count may have just doomed it without meaning to. And the worst part? Tony knows he can't fix this alone. He needs gods. He needs monsters. He needs claws and thunder and rage. He needs Thor. He needs Hulk. He needs Wolverine. Because something is rising beneath the planet, and Iron Man can't stop it alone. So here is where the story expands, because Tony Stark finally accepts a truth he hates more than failure. He needs help. And not just any help. Not satellite support, not drones, not even the full Avengers roster. He needs the three forces on Earth who can survive a fight beneath the crust of the planet itself. Thunder, Rage, Adamantium, Thor, Hulk, Wolverine. And the moment they enter the story, everything shifts. The tone becomes heavier, older, like history itself is paying attention. This isn't just an alien threat. This is something tied to the bones of Earth. Something that remembers gods not as legends, but as opponents. Tony calls Thor first, not for strength, but for memory. Because if anyone might know about a Prius Guardian war, it's the son of Odin. And Thor does not take long to answer. The moment Stark describes what he found, Thor grows quiet. Not afraid, but solemn, like he recognizes a shadow from his father's old warnings. He knows stories of creatures made of star metal and furnace blood. Creatures that even Odin sealed rather than killed. If Thor is the mythic past, then Hulk is the present. Raw survival, brute force, unstoppable power. Tony reaches out, and Hulk responds not with words, but instinct. He hears the ground rumble. He smells ash and metal under the dirt. To Hulk, this is simple. Something underground is challenging the strongest thing alive. And Hulk does not ignore challenge. And then comes Wolverine, not a god, not a Gamma Titan, but a survivor whose bones are metal and whose mind is war. If anyone understands an enemy that regenerates and evolves, it's him. Wolverine arrives not out of duty, but out of instinct, because he can feel something rising under the soil, like nails scratching the underside of Earth's coffin. Together, the three of them stand with Iron Man, but it does not feel like a team. Not yet. Thor questions Tony's decision. Wolverine does not trust the plan. Hulk doesn't care about blame. He wants direction, something to hit. Tony has to swallow pride, guilt, fear, everything that makes him Iron Man. And he tells them the truth. I woke it. I don't know how to stop it. And that line is critical, because this story isn't about Tony saving the world. It's about Tony needing the world's strongest to fix what he broke. Thor prepares his hammer. Hulk cracks the stone beneath his feet. Wolverine extends his claws. 3 sharp silver warnings to whatever lives below. This isn't a mission. It's a countdown. Something ancient is moving. Something metal is forming. And for the first time in thousands of years, the buried legion can sense prey breathing on the surface again. So the war that Earth never truly won is about to start again. Now we move into escalation, because while Tony gathers Thor, Hulk, and Wolverine on the surface, the alien isn't hiding anymore. It's moving, fast. It burrows deeper, past engineered caverns, past old mining routes, past anything recorded by human scanners. And every meter it travels, it consumes metal like oxygen. Pipes vanish. Train tracks rust into dust. Old submarines become skeletons. Even buried technology from past wars, things no human even remembers, are stripped clean like bones picked by a predator. Iron Man watches readings spike, not by 10%, not by 100%, but by thousands. The alien is building something. Not a base, not a fortress, a hive. And here's the terrifying part. It's not alone anymore. As it absorbs metal, it reshapes that metal into living drones. Tiny first, rat-sized, crawling like silver insects. Then larger, wolf body frames with blade limbs. Then bigger, humanoid structures with red furnace hearts. They don't roar or speak, they vibrate, like engines warming up. Like a factory waking after centuries asleep. Thor senses it through the ground like thunder with no sky. Hulk feels it in the soil like footsteps from a giant not yet born. Wolverine hears it like blood pumping through metal veins. And Tony? He finally understands scale. He doesn't just see an alien. He sees an ecosystem rebuilding itself. A civilization awakening cell by cell, bolt by bolt. And worst of all, it's growing toward the surface. Not randomly, with purpose, with direction. Cities above begin feeling like tremors. Streets quiver. Windows rattle. People think it's just minor seismic movement, nothing serious. No one knows the ground beneath them is becoming hollow. No one knows the planet is slowly turning into fuel. And that's the moment Tony admits what hurts most. I can't control it. I can't contain it. We have to go down there. And the room falls quiet because underground means no retreat. No open sky for Thor's lightning. No space for Hulk to leap. No escape tunnels for Wolverine if things go wrong. But there's no choice. If they do nothing, Earth becomes a metal tomb. If they go down, they might never come back. The alien is no longer waking, it is rising. And only 3 beings stand between it and the surface. So now we enter the core of the story, the point where tension turns into war, where warnings turn into violence. Because Tony leads Thor, Hulk, and Wolverine down into the earth, through tunnels not carved by machines, but by something hungry. The air grows hotter. The rock becomes metal. The ground feels alive beneath their feet, like muscle instead of stone. There's no sunlight, no sky, no breath of wind. Just pulsing heat and the echo of something beating. Not a heart, but a forge. The further they move, the more drones appear. At first, just a few, crawling across metallic walls like silver spiders. But then dozens, hundreds. They climb like insects with minds linked to one purpose: protect the hive. Iron Man blasts through the first wave, repulsors tearing drones into molten shards. But the shards crawl back together. They reform. They learn. Every time they break, they rebuild stronger. Like living metal is discovering new ways to live. Thor summons lightning, but underground, lightning has nowhere to go. It burns bright, shaking the tunnels, melting walls into rivers of glowing iron. The drones scream without sound, their bodies rippling as electricity overloads them. But then, even as glassed metal cools, they rise again. Then Hulk charges, and Hulk is Hulk. He smashes through swarms like they're made of foil. One punch cracks open the earth like a drum. His footsteps alone collapse tunnels. But the hive adapts. The drones start swelling larger, heavier, matching Hulk's mass. They don't bleed, they spark. And for the first time, Hulk looks impressed, maybe even excited. Wolverine, meanwhile, becomes pure instinct, claws cutting through metal like butter, sparks flying like fireworks. He moves fast, brutal, surgical. But every creature he slices crawls back together like liquid metal stitching itself. His healing factor meets its mirror, a predator that can't die either. And here's where commentary hits, because this isn't just a battle. This is evolution happening in real time. The hive isn't trying to win fast. It's learning them, studying Thor's lightning, testing Hulk's strength, mapping Wolverine's claws. The longer they fight, the smarter the hive becomes. And then the alien, the first one Tony woke, finally appears again, towering above the others. Not thin and waking like before, but rebuilt, reinforced. Its body now silver and black armor fused with weapons grown like bone. Its voice is no longer broken. We rise, you fall. Those words echo through metal caverns like prophecy. Thor steps forward, lightning burning in his eyes. Hulk growls like thunder without storm. Wolverine wipes silver blood from his blades like a warning answered. Tony prepares missiles, lasers, everything he has. But deep down knows tech alone won't win this. Because this isn't just an alien invasion. This is a resurrection of an ancient species. A species built for war. A species that adapts to every attack. And the hive is still growing, still expanding, still waking. The heat rises. The walls shake. The drones multiply faster than they can be destroyed. This fight isn't equal. It isn't clean. It isn't fair. It's survival. And if the heroes don't stop them here, beneath the earth, then the surface, the cities, the world above has no chance at all. The underground war has begun, and Earth is already losing to SO. Now we hit the twist. And this is where everything the heroes believed breaks apart. Because while they're fighting through waves of metal drones, while the hive learns and grows and swarms, something else begins to move below them. Not the drones, not the alien they woke. Something bigger, something older, something that feels less like an enemy and more like a planet waking up. At first it's a sound, a low groan, like mountains grinding against each other. Then the metal walls begin to pulse like veins in a living body. Thor raises his hammer, sensing power older than Asgard. Wolverine tenses, claws out, because his instincts are screaming louder than thought. Hulk stops smashing, which tells you everything you need to know. Even Hulk feels afraid. The alien they woke steps back, almost reverent, almost kneeling. And that's when Tony Stark realizes they made a mistake even bigger than waking it. This alien was not a leader. It was a prisoner, not a king, not a general, a guard dog chained to keep something worse asleep. The hive wasn't an army rising. It was a lock melting open. Every drone, every swarm, every evolving metal creature was part of a prison system designed to hold back what lived deeper still. Not destroy it, not defeat it, contain it. And that prison is breaking. The ground beneath them splits, glowing like magma made of steel. A tremor knocks Hulk to one knee. Thor stares into the abyss opening below, lightning shaking like his grip weakens. Wolverine catches himself on a shard of metallic bone jutting from the earth and sees it pulse with life. Then Tony scans deeper, and the readings are impossible. A single life signature below, so massive it fills half the map crust. Not a creature living in the planet. A creature wearing the planet. The alien speaks again, voice filled with awe and terror at the same time. The Forge God wakes. That name hits like a punch to the story. The buried legion wasn't the threat. They were the disciples of something vastly greater. A world-forging entity that sleeps like a heart inside Earth, waiting for enough metal, enough heat, enough energy to be born again. And now, after thousands of years, with Tony Stark's help, it has what it needs. The tunnels glow brighter. The hive roars without sound. The world above begins to tremble. This isn't invasion. This is resurrection. The real fight hasn't even started yet. What's rising isn't just an alien. It's a god of metal and fire. So now we reach the moment where hope narrows down to one desperate plan. Because the Forge God isn't something you throw punches at. You don't drop a hammer on it. You don't slash it in half. This thing is a living furnace the size of a continent. If it reaches the surface, Earth becomes fuel. And Tony Stark knows it. This is the part where genius must replace firepower, where Iron Man stops being a fighter and becomes an engineer again. Because the only way to stop a god forged from metal is to shut down its heart. Not kill it, but overload it. Burn it from the inside out. Tony lays out the plan. He will build an arc reactor big enough to melt mountain, a core overloaded with infinite energy. Thor must supercharge it with lightning hotter than the sun's surface. Hulk must hold the hive long enough for it to detonate. Wolverine must cut through the neural metal route that connects the Forge God to the drone army, severing its control. If one of them fails, the planet dies. And you can feel the weight of that. Their expressions tighten. Their voices lower. Even Hulk understands this could be the last stand. Wolverine just nods, like he's lived with death too long to fear it. Thor raises his hammer, thunder shaking stone like drums of war. Tony Stark pauses, not to speak, but to breathe, because what he's about to say is heavier than any armor he's ever built. I started this. I'll finish it, even if I don't walk out. It isn't arrogance. It isn't ego. It's responsibility. The kind that breaks or defines a hero. The kind the world forgets, but legends remember. And that's the shift from panic to purpose. Hulk pounds the ground like a war beat. Wolverine sharpens his claws against silver bone. Thor's lightning turns golden white like a star burning alive. This isn't retreat. This is sacrifice wearing armor. The goal is not victory. The goal is survival of the planet. Because if they fail, Earth falls into the furnace of a god older than myth, and humanity ends as fuel. The time is short. The tunnels glow hotter. The Forge God is waking fully. There is no more waiting, only action left. And now we reach the final moment, the last drop of hope before the world falls. The plan is set. The heroes are ready. But readiness means nothing when the ground itself opens like a breathing wound. The Forge God pushes upward, a titan of living metal and burning light, shaped like a star wrapped in armor. No war cry, no words, just pressure, gravity that tastes like fear. Thor flies first. Lightning roars around him, not like weather, but like creation being rewritten. He slams power into Tony's overcharged arc core, and the core glows white-hot, brighter than anything ever built by human hands. Hulk holds the tunnels as they collapse around him. He digs his feet into molten rock, muscles shaking as tons of metal crash like tidal waves. Every second he stands is a miracle. Every second buys the world one more heartbeat of time. Wolverine becomes motion, not man, not mutant, just instinct with steel claws. He dives toward the nerve spine of the Forge God, a pillar of glowing metal thicker than skyscrapers. Each slash sends sparks like dying stars. The metal heals, reforms, learns. But Wolverine keeps cutting, keeps bleeding, keeps moving. Because sometimes victory belongs not to the strongest, but to the one who refuses to stop. Tony Stark stays at the center, the ignition point, hands shaking inside armor built from guilt, hope, and everything he has ever loved about being human. He knows what happens if he pushes the button. He knows there might be no return. But responsibility outweighs survival. He says it quietly, not to the team, but to himself. I caused this. Now I end it. He triggers the detonation, and the world turns white. Heat erupts like a supernova beneath the crust. Metal screams like gods dying. The hive shatters like glass in a furnace. Drones liquefy. Tunnels collapse. The Forge God thrashes, massive, ancient, unstoppable, until Wolverine's final strike cuts the last neural link. And then the Titan falls still. Silence, except for stone cooling, except for hearts still beating. Thor lands on shaking ground, armor cracked, lightning fading. Hulk stands bloody and burnt, chest rising slow but defiant. Wolverine collapses, panting, smoke rising from adamantium like a sword fresh from fire. And Tony Stark? He's alive, barely, lying beside the shattered arc core that saved the world. No cheers, no celebration, just relief. Heavy, quiet, real. Because they didn't win by strength. They won by sacrifice, trust, pain. By choosing to stand when running was easier. The same way Earth survived the First War. And as they climb back to the surface, sunlight feels different, warmer, earned. The world above keeps turning, unaware how close it came to falling into a god's furnace. Tony breathes air like forgiveness. Thor looks to the horizon and wonders how many ancient wars are still buried. Hulk just wants food. Wolverine lights a cigar. And deep underground, in the cracks of cooling metal, a single ember pulses, faint, but alive. Because gods don't die, they wait. And one day, the Forge may rise again.